Hey, if you guys are watching the replay, I want to welcome you. And if you are live right now, I want to say, hey, what's up? I think we got a plane going overhead here. I wanted to shoot that beautiful sky that I'm looking at here because it is amazing. And I just wanted to do a quick little scope here. So go ahead and turn it on over. Oh, that was my finger in the way there. Hey, what's going on, everyone? I wanted to do a quick little scope here today with you, and I wanted to talk about my recent podcast episode that I did today, and it's basically how Amazon sellers bust through roadblocks. And it was a live conversation, a live discussion that I had in Texas with a bunch of TASers. Now, if you guys are brand new, you don't know who I am, my name is Scott Volker. Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Shaking hands. I have a podcast all about selling on Amazon and basically business in general, being an entrepreneur and all of that good stuff. I see the hearts are coming in, so hey, thanks so much. Hey, Rich Kibble, I just seen joined. Rich, what's going on, man? Rich was at this actually, this event that was going on. Good day, kind sir. Today we are embracing our fears. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. It was awesome, actually. We did a great session, and Johnny from New Jersey, yo, you on Periscoping it up? Cool, Rich. Yeah, it's kind of addicting, isn't it? Yeah. So today, what I wanted to do though is kind of briefly talk a little bit about that session that we had, which was really a lot of fun, and I wanted to just touch on the fear element of this whole thing, because a lot of us we get hung up on it, and I'm guilty of it as well. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm not. So if you guys are joining me, go ahead and put your name and where you're coming from, or where you're living right now, or whatever, and maybe I can give you a quick shout out. Again, I just wanted to kind of touch on this today real quick, and maybe even answer any questions while I'm here. I'm actually on the back patio. Jason from Hawaii, hey, what's up, Jason? William, hey William, you just joined. What's going on? Looks like we've got just about over 20 people on right now, so hopefully we can get that number up a little bit. I know it's during the day, and a lot of people are at work. Unfortunately, that's the way it works. I'm not at work. I'm in my back patio right now. This is my office for today, which you can see. I have my my laptop here. Let me do that real quick. You can see my laptop possibly, and let's see. Yeah, right there. There's my laptop, and here I am out on the back patio. Can I watch Periscope on my computer or on a mobile? I don't believe you can, but what I'm doing is I'm actually recording these. Originally from Puerto Rico, living in Sunshine State of Florida. Oh, cool. Right now I'm actually recording them, and I'm putting them up on YouTube. And I'm creating a channel just for the scopes that I feel that add value, of course. Yes, you can watch from the PC. Yeah, see, I don't even know that much about it. I didn't know that. Actually, I take that back. If you find this in the Twitter feed, you'll see the replay of that or the link. So yes, yes, you can open and share. And you know what? Actually, while we're talking about sharing, if you guys could you swipe your screen either on the side or up? And I just found out you can do pay-per-click in the first 3 months of a new account. I'm not aware of that. That's something new. I'm not sure if that's in all categories. That might be in a different category. We can talk about that in a second, though. What I wanted to do is, just if you could share this, that would be awesome. Rebecca just joined us. Hey, Rebecca, and you just shared. Thank you so much. If you can just share it with Twitter, share it with your followers, and also just tell people about it. The other thing you can do is you can double tap and give me some love with the hearts. That would be awesome. And again, I'm doing these so I can connect with you more on a one-on-one. Today, podcast episode number 90 has been published, and I'm really excited about it because it was a live discussion that we had in Texas with a bunch of really great people. And I see the hearts are flying in, so thank you guys so much. And what I wanted to do, though, is just kind of bring the awareness to this post or this podcast. Why don't you let me know, did you guys listen to the podcast down below? Are you guys listening to it today? Have you already? Are you planning on it? Let me know just real quick, yes or no, in the comments down below. That would be helpful for me. I guess what I want to talk about is, I see yes, not yet, I have, cool. I listened to it later today, or listening to it late. Okay, Facebook last, yes, okay, good. Not all the time, okay, cool. Rich Kibble says he lived it. That is right. You did live it. You were there. it was kind of cool to be there and actually hear this thing. I listened to it actually myself coming home this morning, and I thought it was awesome. I thought we did a really good job. You guys all did a great job that were on it, and now we're able to share that, which is just great. So really what we talked about is there was a discussion from Pat Flynn that talked all about kind of like getting out of our own way, and meaning that, you know, we're really our biggest obstacle, you know, because either we shut down before we even get started, or we start thinking about the what ifs. You know, what if this happens? What if that happens? And then that really kind of freaks us out sometimes, and then we just stop altogether. So really what the message here is, and what everyone was kind of saying, was just do it, right? Do something. And I don't care if it's Amazon FBA or starting a business, whatever it is, do it, right? If it's right now you're thinking about working out, do it, commit to it, right? You know, you have to start somewhere. Everyone starts somewhere. I don't think that there's any one question that is a dumb question, that is a stupid question. I know a lot of people, even myself in school, I never wanted to raise my hand because I thought I would look stupid. That I don't care about that, because we all start somewhere, and we all have these fears. We all have this little person on our shoulder. Shout out to Shia. Hey, what's going on? We all have these fears. We all have these little doubts. We all have these little imposters that come into our lives that could make us not do something. And we would regret that, because that one thing could be such a huge thing in our lives moving forward down the road. And we don't know that necessarily until we actually do it. Now, are there things that are going to happen that might not be comfortable? Absolutely. You know, if you're sitting there not feeling a little bit nervous about doing something, it's not a big enough thing to do then. That's the way I look at it, because you're too comfortable. And it's like in anything, like when I first shelled out my $5,000 for my first order, I was nervous. I mean, you can ask my wife, she'll tell you. And I actually said, maybe we should only do 2,500 right now, you know, because, you know, maybe it won't work, or maybe I'll, you know, put money up and it won't, you know, I won't get the return back. And, you know, she basically helped me get through that and said, what's the worst that's going to happen? You know? What's gonna happen? You know, we're gonna probably have to sell it at cost and break even. That's the worst that's gonna happen, and we're gonna be out a little bit of money until that happens. You know, but what's gonna happen if I don't do this? I'll never know if I could have that extra revenue stream. Now, I was doing it at the time not necessarily because I wanted to make that my full-time living. I was doing it to supplement, to actually add to you know, my revenue streams. I mean, in, you know, being or you know, as far as being an entrepreneur, you have to always be thinking about how to add different revenue streams to your businesses, because if you don't, you're depending on one channel. And, you know, we talk about that even with Amazon. Like, do I think that you should focus on Amazon and only focus on Amazon? In the beginning, yes, to a certain extent. But once you get that thing up and running and it starts proving itself, then you need to start thinking about outside traffic to start building an email list, which I talked about in the past. And I've talked about it in just our upcoming podcast episode that I did. We just did another one. I think it was on Monday. We did it with Rick Mulready on Facebook ads, you know, about building those email lists, because the email list is going to help us in the future, you know, be able to kind of diversify and actually take those customers or those potential customers and bring them with us in whatever other business venture we want to do in that market, you know, in this case. So I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent there, a little, you know, you guys all know that I do that if you listen to the podcast. But that's just me. I'm thinking all the time, you know, I can't depend on this one thing. If I depend on this one thing, you know, it could be bad, right? And that's the fear thing, right? But the other fear is, well, what if I start this other thing and it doesn't work? You know, then what? You know, then I'm going to be disappointed. Then I'm going to be frustrated. You have all these feelings and emotions coming into the mix when you go into something. I think that you need to go into it feeling, I'm going to give this 100%. Hold on one second. How many products should we have before we start something like Shopify? I only have 2 products. You can start that whenever you want. I mean, from what I understand, I haven't set up a Shopify store yet. I know Chris Schaefer, a good friend of mine and someone that also helps me on, you know, on the podcast, but he also helps me in the private label classroom. he's big into e-commerce. He's been doing that for a while, and Shopify is very easy to set up. And as long as it's not going to take away from your efforts in your Amazon business, then I'd say do it as soon as possible. It doesn't cost much to set one of them up, and you could start getting some sales. I know another gentleman in our class, he actually set up a Shopify store, and basically, I think right out of the gate, just from social media stuff, he got like 4 or 5 sales through his Shopify site. So it's something you probably should do sooner than later, but I don't think that should be one of the things that you need to do in the beginning if it's going to make you feel like, oh my gosh, I got all this stuff to do. That's when I usually hear people asking about outside traffic and stuff, to me, it gets them to where they think they have to do it, and then if they can't do it all, they don't do anything. So I try to make it a point to simplify and really chunk things down, so this way here you can sprint instead of thinking about the marathon ahead. I got choked up there. And I don't have any water out here either, so we're live right now. So that's really, it in a nutshell as far as that little imposter. And you really have to go about this thing and go all in and at least give yourself a good sprint time. Meaning it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. But you really need to set that plan, and then from that plan, you got to be willing to pivot, but you got to go into it thinking, I'm going to give this thing everything I got, and I'm not going to give up until I've finished it. So if you're going to launch a product on Amazon, you do the product research, you get it listed, you get it sourced, you get it listed, you promote it, going through the launch process, which I've talked about before. And if you have not even looked at that yet, I would recommend doing that. It's free, theamazingseller.com/launch. And it gives you a checklist of what you should be doing for your launch process. And if you haven't done all those things yet, you're not ready to kind of like throw the towel in, I guess. Because I think if you do all that stuff, you're going to see that you're going to learn through that process. And then you're going to, even if you're only getting 2 or 3 or 4 sales a day, you know that now you can build upon that. It's the hardest part is to getting to that point, right? A lot of people don't get out of the product research stage. Yep, so true. Congratulations on your continued success. Just wanted to say thanks on behalf of FBA Sellers. Thank you so much for being a listener and also for hanging out with me on these scopes. So does anybody have any questions or anything that they're struggling with right now that you wanted me to kind of give you a little bit of a push or a nudge or something? I can do that for you. Or if you have any other just Amazon or business questions at all, throw them at me right now. I got about another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to go ahead and close the laptop up, take a walk, and get a bite to eat. So if you have anything, I'll be more than happy to stick around for a few minutes. Hearts are piling in. You guys are awesome. And if you guys have not listened to today's podcast, I would recommend that you do that. You can find that at theamazingseller.com. Just head there and you'll see the podcast pop up there. Pay-per-click is not working for my 2-month-old store. I need a little bit more information on that as to why it's not working. Have you done everything that I've suggested in my little, I created a little guide for pay-per-click on the 3 campaigns that you should start with. That can be found at theamazingseller.com/PPC. How can I tell if I need to do better on my listing and advertising or if my product is a dud? Well, first off, I would need to know, how much traffic is getting to that auto and manual pay-per-click. This is my first time listing. Okay, couple different questions here. Let's address the and remind me on the listing thing in a minute if I forget. But on the pay-per-click thing, if you're doing an auto and a manual, 0 impressions and 0 clicks for 2 weeks now. Okay, well, we have a couple different things we can do here. 0 impressions means we can't get clicks with no impressions. So that's the first thing. The first thing we got to do is get you impressions. So how are we going to get you impressions? We're going to either A, increase your bid. So if you're bidding 50 cents, we need to increase that to $1. If you're still not getting impressions, we got to increase it to $1.50. If you're still not getting impressions, bring it up to $2. And you keep going until you get impressions. If you still don't get impressions and you're bidding like $5 a click, well, then we got to look at relevancy. Maybe your listing doesn't have relevancy to the keywords you're trying to target. So if you're trying $2.50 a click, still no clicks. Yeah, but are you getting impressions with that? That's my first thing. You're bidding $2.50, but are you getting any impressions? that's the question I would be asking if we were sitting at this table together, which we are right now. So what are your impressions for that? No impressions. Okay, so we got to bid higher. Let's try $3. Let's try $3.50. Give it a day each time that you do these things. Now, if you're then not getting any impressions, then what we need to look at is relevancy. Is the keywords you're trying to target in your listing somewhere? Are they on the back end of the listing? Are they on the back end of, your search terms that you're putting in there for your keywords? Are they in your title? Okay, thanks. So yeah, these are the things that I would be looking at if you were saying like, I don't have, I don't have any impressions. Well, this is what we got to do first. And then once we get through that, then we got to look at, okay, now we got impressions. Are we getting clicks? If we're getting clicks and we're not getting sales, now we got a conversion problem. So that's kind of how we can kind of reverse back the process. Back to the listing. That question on the listing, I believe, was how do we know that we have optimized our listing? I think that's what the question was. Refresh my memory if you're still on and you wanted the answer to the listing. I think it was listing optimization. How do we know that we have our listing optimized? I think that was it. My sessions had been around 90. Okay, so your sessions have been around 90. That means basically 90 people are seeing it, but now 40 to 50. Well, here's the thing, too. We got to understand this. It's August right now, right? Today is what, August 26th? Traffic is down. And depending on your market, it could be down more than others. But right now, traffic is definitely down, so those sessions will go down. But that doesn't mean that you can't expand out on your keywords and pay-per-click and get those up. Just wondering if my product stinks or if I need to get the listing better. Okay, good. Well, what's your competitors doing? I'd be looking at their listings and seeing if their sales have dropped. If their sales have dropped, well, then maybe it's it's site-wide. Maybe it's everyone is starting to drop. So that's what I would be looking at there. My BSR has gone up tremendously. Okay, what about your competitors? We're going to go back to them. We have to have something that we can gauge this off of to make sure that it's not just you. Okay? Now, if it is just you, and they're still getting sales, then maybe we're looking at a conversion thing here. I'm in absurdly a competitive niche. Eesh. Okay, that's the first thing. So in order to compete in that niche, you're going to have to probably bump up your reviews, which then when you bump up your reviews, now we're battling this whole review thing where, are we going to be penalized for, running all of these different reviews, that these blasts and all of this stuff. So I guess my recommendation to you would be to try to find keywords that are not that competitive, that you can find a bunch of these. And the way that you can do this is you can take your competitors' ASIN, or not their ASIN, their URL, drop it into Keyword Planner in Google, and then from there see all of the suggested keyword terms. And then from there copy those out, put them into a campaign, and start running, running a campaign against those keywords, trying to find kind of like the long tail keyword, the ones that are kind of obscure, the ones that are kind of not being bidded on that much, and that are being bid on that much, and then from there trying to find the low-hanging fruit. So this way here you can start getting some of this outside, not outside, but kind of like these keywords that aren't being found by your competitors as much. And that's one way. It's a harder way to go about it, but my suggestion would be also to look at other products that aren't as competitive, that could be related to this product, and then start getting that one going, and then from there you can introduce the other one to this particular listing. And then that way there, you're going to not be in that competitive space so much. It's a really tough road, especially when you're getting started, if you're going to go after that. That's why if you've been listening to the podcast or if you've been watching any of my workshops or anything, you guys know that I'm a big fan on not going after that competitive of a market. Is relevancy relevant to both auto and suggested keywords? Yes, it is. Suggested keywords, though, they'll actually tell you. They'll actually say, these are the ones you should be bidding for. So it's basically what they're doing is they're scraping your listing and they're saying, these are the ones that you should be bidding on. And then the auto campaign is the same thing. They're only going to place your product in front of people that they think that it's going to be a good fit for. So I hope that makes sense. All right, guys. I want to just say thank you for taking the time. If you guys have not shared this, if you could do that, swipe on the screen, or if you're on an Android, swipe up. Click the Twitter or click the share with your followers, and then just let other people know about the podcast, theamazingseller.com. Let them know about that. Let them know, if you're enjoying this, if you think they'll get value from it. The hearts are very colorful today. They're very beautiful. I want to thank you guys so much. I really, really appreciate it. And awesome. And I'm glad that you tell everyone, Malcolm. And I'll try to get back here again tomorrow. I'll do another one. And hey, Johnny just shared that. Thank you so much on Twitter. Appreciate it. And if you guys are watching a replay on this, you can still tap on that screen and give me some love. So that would be cool too. I do get a lot of people that watch the replays. And so stay tuned. Friday, we're going to do another Ask Scott session on the podcast. I got a lot of cool things planned for the podcast coming up. A lot of great guests. It's been a really awesome ride. And I owe it all to you guys because you guys have been listening and you've been watching. And I really do appreciate it. And I hope to be able to help you through your journey. And just remember that if you're facing that fear, or if you're facing there is a workshop I'm doing tomorrow too. That's right, I forgot to mention that. I'm doing one with Chris Guthrie, and he's going to be actually showing us kind of behind the scenes of his software AmaSuite, but he's also going to be digging really down into the criteria and stuff and showing us how all of that works. I'm really excited about it as well. There's over 1,000 people right now signed up for it. So if you guys did want to sign up and you haven't, that is on theamazingseller.com/finding products. That's the URL that I created for that, finding-products. And you can sign up for that totally free. It's awesome. I can't wait to do it. Tomorrow that's at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, because he's Pacific time. So anyway, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I'll probably be back here tomorrow, like I said, and the podcast, like I said, go listen to that if you haven't. It's totally something that you want to surround yourself, as far as that thought process, and everyone that spoke at that round table. They just awesome. Danny Brewer is a rock star. Rich Kibble, rock star. You guys are awesome. And, of course, Chris Schaefer was there as well. I don't want to leave him out. He's awesome too. All right. So, Danny Brewer's son too. He's a cool cat too. He's only 30 and he's very, very smart. Check him out too. He had some really, really good bit of advice there for a young guy. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much. Remember, guys, I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you. I believe in you, and you guys know that you guys can do this. You know it, but you have to do something, right? You have to do what? Come on, I'm waiting for you. You guys listen to the podcast. Give it to me. Come on. Give me what you got to do. Let me know that you listen. Come on, I see it coming. Come on, type. There we go. Rich Kibble in the house. Rebecca. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be talking to you guys real soon. And, definitely get out there and take some action. Take care.